Here it is, my most offensive chapter of my second book, the sequel to Vampire the Awakening, in stores now. In this chapter is your first real introduction to Valens, my big bad of the second book. I hope you all enjoy it. This is going to be very offensive, and that is no exaggeration, so you have been warned. If you have a light stomach, do not listen to this video. With that said, minimal spoilers. And I will likely screw this up. Reading is not my specialty, writing is. Now let's begin. Chapter 3, The Twisted Dark. Alexandria reigns as Arius trains, while the Black Wolf army has ceased all offensive attacks for reasons known only to their leader. They remain on the fringe of the kingdom they came to claim, attacking small villages, inching closer and closer to the capital. The soldiers bide their time as they await the order to march on the crown jewel that is the castle itself. Black Wolf Army location, former village of Darkwood. Valens and his forces have, for the time being, withdrawn from the invasion, occupying nearby settlements close to Mordair's borders where they can resume at a moment's notice. The reasons for choosing established residences instead of making camp was simple. Entertainment. After all, what was a conqueror without his conquests? The citizens have been slaughtered, save for a few. Men and women of fighting caliber were killed or enlisted. The most attractive women were claimed by Valens as concubines, the others left to his soldiers' entertainment. The elderly or infirm were used as slave labor, then as sustenance, their fates decided on individual basis by the ruler himself. The men of the Black Wolf army fight hard, for they know cowardice, desertion, capture, or loss meant death, not only to the soldier himself, but his death would come after he witnesses the death of his bloodline, ensuring only the strong and worthy deserve to pass on their genes in the kingdom of Vatican. This is what makes the soldiers of Valens so feared, so formidable. Anything less than victory means the end of them and all they hold dear. Perched among a makeshift throne in the tallest building of this tiny village, the church, the Wolf King sits atop his throne as the priest from the village appeals to the conqueror's spirit. Lord Valens, I implore you, spare my congregation. Ye have claimed dominion over our village, bested our warriors, taken our women. Those you have spared in your infinite mercy are of no harm to you. Not I, and certainly not my son. He's but a newborn, a child, who is yet to see a whole year on God's earth. I have prayed to the Lord above that you would spare this flock, and so you have. The Lord is not deaf to our prayers, kind sir. Surely, having confessed to the Almighty, he will grant you salvation in the hereafter. Christianity, any religion really, was such an amusing concept to Valens. Obey or be punished. A social construct, parents use with children, but put to large scale. It fascinated him deeply to know people believed so completely in such an obvious fabricated illusion. Valens sat in his dimly lit, hollowed-out church on his makeshift throne, lying across the arms of the chair in silence. He was considering the pleas of the holy man and contemplating his request. It was true this man had no power over him, not in this life or the other, but releasing him would be far too boring, too easy, and since his war was put on pause, he demanded entertainment. A crop of disheveled dark locks cradled the king's head. Strong, chiseled features adorned his face, a dimple set in either cheek. His eyes held a smoldering fire, a hidden danger and a piercing intelligence. Worst of all was that smile, a serpent's grin, a sly, sinister sneer dripping with wicked intention, a smile that made you tense and anxious at the thoughts that would cause such a malevolent grin. But I have yet to confess all my sins, for I have killed so many, Father. His voice was thunderous but restrained, echoing off the vaulted ceilings and crashing down upon them like waves from a roaring ocean. Just hearing him speak was enough to send chills down the pastor's spine, but he steeled himself and prayed to God for the strength to see this through. "Yes, well, I am but a pastor, my lord. Father is a title reserved for priests traditionally. You may address me as you wish. I have come to appeal in your good Christian heart. You see, war has ever been one of mankind's greatest sins. Those truly seeking redemption can find salvation, but only if they repent in the here and now. Those you have killed before, were they not invaders? Threats to the peace of your rule?" That wicked smile never left, as his twisted mind raced with the world of suffering he could bring crashing down upon this feeble-minded fool. "I've killed Christians too, Father," he said calmly and proudly. Unshaken, the priest continued his bid. "I'm certain they died so you could protect countless others. They are surely martyrs in heaven's light." It was uncomfortable for the king to sit with a holy man, not because they made him so, but because it took such effort not to laugh at every stupid thing they uttered. "Father, how long have you sat and suffered under me? You've seen me sin, break commandment after commandment, and with great relish. Yet here you sit, praying for my salvation. Since you are so certain of the heavenly fate for those I martyr, you should be overjoyed when you join them. Your followers, and of course, your son. For what use have I for a newborn? Hardly any meat on them. Certainly no fight." Tears burst from the pastor's swollen eyes. As he fell to his knees, clasping both hands together, he prayed out loud to the God above. This action only angered the unstable ruler, causing Valens to leap from his throne, moving like the predatory animal he was. Broad shoulders, muscular chest and torso held high, straight, regal, he strode, confident with the grace of a born predator and king. Standing before the pastor, he tore the crucifix from around his neck and held it aloft, staring into it. "This is your God, then, your object of faith? This, your Father who art in heaven? Why is it every time I've spoken to you, you've shut your mouth and hid? Given our mutual disdain, I can't blame you. Can you hear me? Are you capable of speech? Or is depravity the only language you understand? If you do exist, if you are real, stop hiding in your cloud city. Stop slinking behind your worshippers and face me." Valens awaited a response, a sign, anything. All he was met with was silence. "You know, Father, I don't think he's listening. Maybe your faith just isn't strong enough. Maybe," Valens gasped as his eyes lit up as he thought of a sudden revelation. "Your God doesn't care about you. Or maybe he just needs stronger motivation." With the snap of his fingers, the guards at the door left, returning moments later with the pastor's son in hand, giving him to their ruler. "Father, they say faith can move mountains. I've never seen it myself, but yours certainly has moved me. Your dedication to your idiot God against unwavering opposition is nothing short of inspiring. So here's the deal, Father. Forsake your God. Renounce him right here and now, in his house, and I'll let you and your son go." Trembling, there was a gleam of hope in the old man's eyes, but he was devout. He just couldn't forsake his Lord above. After all, life was temporary. The afterlife was eternal. "Please, my lord, I can't do that. Return my son, I beg of you. Have pity. Have mercy." Groveling was not something the pastor was accustomed to, but for his son he would degrade himself if it reunited them. Grasping at Valens' pant leg, he whimpered and sobbed. His actions had the opposite effect he had hoped for. Instead of softening his heart and drawing out compassion, all it did was replace that wicked sneer with one of disgust, something he quickly felt as Valens kicked the man away. "Motivation it is," he snapped. Placing the child on the ground, it began its mewling cry, its voice echoing off the halls, compounding his father's misery. The pastor tried to grab his son, only to receive another boot to the face, one that busted the corner of his lip wide open. Free from the old man's clutches, Valens rested a foot on the child's temple and held his weight from it. "There's no solace above or below, holy man. Only us. Solitary, selfish, striving. If you're going to pray, pray to someone real."